Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the GI Joe Manta Ray. So, the Manta Ray was first released in the United States in 1994 and unfortunately was discontinued that very same year. So, this has a torpedo launcher that shoots and a wind up powered motor. And we actually have a motor a cover for the motor as well. So it adds a little extra play feature there. Um, we're really looking at an upgraded version of the old Raft. Um, kind of getting from there. This time we actually have uh, a launcher for the torpedo and two spare torpedoes here. Not really, I guess, the way I would think of doing it personally, but it's how we have this kind of setup here today. So, looking at the pictures that we have here at yojo.com, this is the one that they have up top. Um, the torpedoes are in green, so unfortunately, we don't have the best sight of it. And this one looks like it's missing the engine cover as well as the actual launcher here next to the driving console. But going on to our next picture, which shows the whole thing in actual form, so we have wetsuit maybe sitting here driving our Manta Ray, as we have I don't know who that is offhand shooting our torpedo, and then we have somebody else off the side shooting their rifle and kind of sitting right over one of the torpedoes to be reloaded onto the launcher. Let's see, and then we have our rear view here. So torpedo launcher shoots and it's wind up powered. So this does show the whole thing with our launcher on here, and it looks like it's got kind of a screw function. So that way, when you actually shoot it out and it goes into the water, it should hopefully kind of corkscrew and get on over to whatever GI Joe or Cobra boat that you have there for it to run into. We have sharp razor wind up speed prop. So I'm not exactly certain how we're doing that, if we're just kind of winding it up, kind of like a rubber band feature, and it just kind of unwinds, or how that really works. Obviously, this is meant to really float, and it says so. It really floats. So it gives a little extra play feature for the kids, as us adults probably aren't throwing it in the water all that much, but eh, us adult children will be what we are. All right. And it's showing that we have the removable uh, motor cover as well as inflatable commando boat with reinforced hull. This is supposed to be shark proof um, kind of plating here as we look at everything, how to put it together on our next um, picture here. So, top side, trying to see if I can see anything on the motor itself, how we're supposed to actually do that, but it doesn't say. Now, this is kind of fun here because it does say we have 3 lock on torpedoes, so that's total. We do have the front mounted supercharged torpedo launcher. We have a control console with dual steering grips, shark proof inflatable commando boat, turbo blast engine with removable cover, the razor sharp wind up speed prop, the dual mounted torpedo racks, beach blasting reinforced hull section. It's a rubber raft with a little extra surface on there to keep it from uh, kind of getting punctured through, and bulletproof topside canopy deck. So kind of a early version of what's considered today as a rigid inflatable, where it's kind of a rigid boat frame on the inside, but it also has the inflatable going around it, trying to help keep a little extra buoyancy. And that concludes all the pictures that we have here at Yojo. There are no other variations of the manta ray that's known to exist according to yojo.com. Let's see if we actually have. We do have Manta from 1984, which is a um, oh, kind of like a windboard or something, I believe. I'm stretching here. Kind of like a surfboard, but it's got the wind the sail under. I'm not exactly certain what they call that. I'm thinking a windboard, but I could be wrong. And of course, then we have the Manta Ray here. Price wise, unfortunately, we do not have a price on this, which is always a lot of fun whenever we get to see those. Being in 1984 or 94, I'm going to guess that this is probably going for maybe about $10, maybe 12 at this point. Just taking a wild stab at the dark. Um, Hoping I'm getting kind of close to what it could be. So, with that, let's get on over to our D6 stats and see what we have here today. All right, so looking at our stats here today. So the Manta Ray being at speeder scale, I have this at roughly about 10 feet long. It could be 12 or something, but I just felt 10 is probably close to where we are. We do have a crew of one pilot and one gunner. Um, is it a possibility you could probably gun this on your own? Yeah, maybe. Reloading might become a little bit of a headache trying to do it all on your own. And I figure we might be able to get two more people in the rear portion of this. Seeing that we do see one person in the back, I think we could probably fit a second person there. So our cargo capacity being about 45 kilograms or roughly about 100 pounds. Uh, Giving it as usual our full coverage, even though it's probably maybe about a half or whatever. I figure if we're shooting, we'll just let the vehicle take the brunt of the damage until it's gone. Um, Altitude range, this is going to be surface, which is funny because actually I grabbed from the uh, what the heck did I have? One of the other watercraft from before. I think it was like the Sea Shark 3000 or something like that. Um, just grabbing it to get all of our stuff. Let's see, I had that as just ground range altitude. I didn't have that change, which I should have had to change before, but I didn't. I kind of goofed that one up. All right, maneuverability. I left that at about a 1D. Maneuver or our movement speed. I have this at about 30 miles an hour. Figured a small boat with a smaller motor might be able to get up to there. I could be wrong. It might be a little bit slower than that, but I figured 30's a pretty good range. Uh, Body strength is going to be about 2D at speeder scale. I didn't really want to get it too overly kind of beefed up. I know it's got some of the rigid in there, but the inflatable is still the inflatable, even though it's supposed to be shark resistant. I don't know how much abuse that's really going to be able to take. And then our weapons is very simple. We have our 3 torpedoes. We're going to be able to shoot one at a time. Speeder scale. Fire control is our 2D, which is our standard for how we normally do these. And our damage is going to be at 7D for the explosive. So that really encompasses the whole boat. It's a smaller boat, a nice little play set for our Joes. Something kind of fun to have. I think this is about the type of stuff that we should really be looking at Hasbro making for our D6 Joes, or our 6-inch classified series Joes. Um, Smaller vehicles in this range would really be kind of nice. Something to have fun with, but not something overly large, is what we're seeing with, the Firefly or the Dragonfly, which I will admit is very impressive sitting there on a shelf. But these start getting to be fairly large, and where we're going to place them, I don't know. And just kind of going from there. But with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's always wonderful having you here. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.